Hey guys, this is your host Nitin Binhani and a very warm welcome to my startup podcast channel Jazair Audio, where we share real stories with real learnings.
Today we'll dive into the story of 1K Kirana, a startup that aimed to revolutionize the Kirana store business in India. Despite the high hopes and the strong backing of InfoEdge and other investors, 1K Kirana is currently going through a challenging phase, almost staring at bankruptcy, as per a report by Inc.
First, the disclaimer. The content of this podcast is based on media reports and is for informational purposes only. We do not verify the accuracy of the information presented, nor make any claims about the startups or individuals mentioned in this podcast.
Let's understand what went wrong and what can entrepreneurs learn from their journey. Inc. uncovers 6 key areas that are mostly responsible for the 1K Kirana's precarious situation. 1. Overexpansion with poor financial management or control. 1K Kirana rapidly expanded its operations without a solid financial base. The company scaled up too fast by setting up extensive warehousing capacities and hired aggressively, anticipating a high future demand. Alas, that didn't materialize, and this overexpansion led to a significant overhead costs without corresponding revenue increase, thereby threatening the viability of its business. 2. Inadequate funding and investment. The startup faced a critical funding gap when their expected second tranche of investment didn't come through. Instead of anticipated $25 million, it only raised $4 million in 2023, leading to a severe cash crunch. This sudden shortfall forced the company to scale back its operations, drastically reducing the number of operational stores from over 1,000 to mere 30 stores. 3. High operational costs with negative contribution margin. 1K Kirana's business model involved covering up to 50% of rent and electricity expenses for its franchise stores, which significantly increased its operational costs. Additionally, the company also struggled with maintaining a positive contribution margin, often acquiring customers at a loss in the hopes of long-term retention. This ultimately proved unsustainable and disastrous for the company. 4. Failure to compete with the large B2B players. The entry of large B2B e-commerce players like Udon and Jumbotail into the Kirana procurement chain further intensified competition, thereby making it difficult for 1K Kirana to sustain its market share. These larger players had better resources and more established networks that quickly overshadowed 1K Kirana's efforts to grow. Number 5. Technological shortcomings. 1K Kirana faced significant issues with its technological infrastructure. The company's website and mobile apps were found to be non-functional or malfunctioning, preventing new user signups and registrations. These technological shortcomings further hindered 1K Kirana's ability to attract and retain customers. Number 6. Mismanagement of supply chain and poor customer experience. The startup severely overestimated its capabilities in managing a vast network of Kirana stores and invested recklessly in warehouses without an established market presence or having enough customers. Many customers weren't happy with its poor experiences at the stores, making retention difficult. These 6 issues collectively led to 1K Kirana's precarious financial situation, resulting in mass layoffs and store closures, thus forcing it to consider a distress sale to survive or declare bankruptcy. But it's not just limited to 1K Kirana. Kirana, or grocery tech sector, mirrors the pain suffered by the edtech sector. Once the COVID pandemic got over, in my 81st podcast titled India's EdTech Boom, From Promising Heights to Stark Despair, I have briefly covered the edtech sector, highlight the several shutdowns of startups or their pivots from online to offline business models. Similar to edtech, Kirana Tech too has morphed from supply chain models to e-commerce or SaaS models. By the way, 1K Kirana is not alone in this difficult and choppy waters. Tiger Global-backed unicorn, DealShare, which raised more than 10 times of 1K Kirana in funding, shut down its B2B vertical in 2023 and now focuses solely on B2C segment. In FY 2023, DealShare carried Rs. 1,043 crore outstanding loss, as reported by Ntracker. We don't see them break even soon. The B2B e-commerce unicorn Udon, that has raised over $1 billion in funding, is yet to break even. My Store, launched by Kotabook, shut down its operations within a year. OK Shop, launched in 2020, shut down its operations within 2 years. Dukaan, offline to online platform for Kirana stores, pivoted to e-commerce SaaS in early 2022. Similar to Dukaan, Bikai pivoted to offer e-commerce marketing platform. So these were some of the notable examples of India's crumbling Kirana and retail tech landscape that have either scaled back or shut down its operation. By keeping these lessons in mind, you can avoid the pitfalls that led to 1K Kirana's troubles. So here are the key learnings from 1K Kirana's story. It's important to grow at a pace which you can handle or sustain. This is what I call sustainable, profitable growth. Always have sufficient money and resources to support your growth. Keep your costs in check and never get customers at a loss. Watch out for big competitors and establish differential competitive value proposition. Make sure your technology stack works well, manage your resources wisely, and don't overestimate your capabilities.
Lastly, I want to thank all the listeners who took their valuable time to listen to this podcast. Keep rocking, be safe, and don't forget to share.